In the 70s, he was everywhere. And in all fairness, in the 2019s, he's everywhere. He'll do anything. And that's one of the reasons I love Malcolm McDowell. He will do anything.
Literally
Sometimes
to the detriment of his own career.
Oh, absolutely.
Do anything.
I have a feeling Caligula didn't really do well for his career.
No. Will we get there? I don't know.
It's in the 70s. We can.
Oh, well, maybe.
I mean, we got to talk about it someday. We can watch the rated version, so we don't have to watch the porn.
Oh, boo! You're no fun anymore.
Hey, I'll watch the porn ones, but that means we have to report on that.
Oh, that's fair. That's
just saying.
So true.
Keir Dullea agreed to do the film because it was being shot near where his parents lived, and he wanted to go visit them. Isn't that nice?
Well, I mean, I'm already going to be in town, so.
Yeah. This is hilarious. Gilda Radner was offered the part of Phyllis Carlson. She accepted the part but dropped out 1 month before filming began because of Saturday Night Live commitments and was replaced by Andrea Martin, her stunt double.
Yeah.
They look so similar, it's scary. That's just hilarious to me.
One's on SNL, the other one's on SCTV.
Yeah. They're just... She's the Canadian Gilda Radner. Is Gilda Radner Canadian? I should say.
Andrea Martin's not Canadian.
Isn't she?
No.
I thought she was.
No.
Oh.
Born in the States, spent most of her
I think
life,
it's because of
Canada.
she's consistently here and did a lot of Canadian stuff that I just think that way.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, there was only like 2 people on SCTV who weren't Canadians.
Yeah.
And I think she was probably one of them.
Doug McKenzie.
Yeah.
No, wait, Rick... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Thomas and Rick
Was
Moranis.
he Bob or Doug? I can never remember. I always get this confused.
But I think they're both Canadian. Right? Correct? No,
yes.
Dave Thomas is American.
No, they're both Canadian.
Okay.
I think it's... I think it was... there was another one.
Well, John Candy.
Does this matter? No.
No.
We'll... Off mic.
Yeah.
The role of Lieutenant Fuller was originally given to Edmund O'Brien. Upon his arrival to the set, however, the producer realized he would be unable to fill the duties required of the part due to his failing health, stemming from Alzheimer's disease. John Saxon, who had read the script prior, was called by the producers who offered him the role. He accepted and had to arrive in Toronto from New York City within 2 days to begin shooting.
It's not far.
No, it's really not. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. The film was shot in Toronto in the winter of 1973 to 74. The house had been discovered by Clark while scouting for locations, and its owners agreed to leave the home for the production. The interiors were not a set constructed in the film as you'd expect, but an actual house that had to be rented for the film's production. Some scenes in the script had to be slightly rewritten to accommodate the house's foundation and structure. It still stands to this day as a popular tourist attraction. And a place that I have actually tourist attracted and went up is the school was the University of Toronto campus.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'd watched it all these years and had no idea, and then I was actually visiting an ex-girlfriend there.
And you look around and
I looked up and I'm like, holy shit, okay.
Black Christmas!
I did not realize this. Okay, and I was very happy, and she did not understand why, because I'd never got around to showing her this movie. We broke up. The snow scene outside of the sorority house was actually fake because there had been surprisingly little snowfall during the time of filming. A foam material that was provided by the local fire department was used for snow on the lawn, and according to cinematographer Albert J. Dunk, the substance actually caused the grass on the lawn to grow greener than ever the following spring.
Huh.
Yeah, it does turn out that occasionally it doesn't snow in Canada.
Yeah, we've had that.
We literally say that as there's a bunch of snow on the ground right now, but shut up.
The last couple winters, it hasn't been as snowy. This is,
Yeah, but in all fairness, we've had 2 snowfalls, and it was like a dumping of snow, melt, and it looks like that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
So, not that crazy. According to John Saxon, Clark had meticulously drawn out storyboards with key shots, which he had brought to the film set each day. I could understand exactly what I thought he needed, and the scene required. So, I guess Bob Clark was extremely meticulous, which I kind of like that. Scene in the film involving a POV shot of Billy scaling the house was accomplished through the use of a rig designed by camera operator Burt Dunk, who was attached to Dunk's head as he climbed the side of the house. That's common now, but remember, cameras back then were huge, so this is actually a surprisingly impressive feat that he climbed up there. Griffin's death scene was, which was shot with a handheld camera in a real closet. This was accomplished in only a couple of takes. According to Griffin, her character's surprise at the killer lunges from the closet was genuine. As the actress later recalled, "It was a total shock because I didn't really know when to expect him to jump out." If you look closely during a few scenes at the sorority house in the dark, where the girls you can actually spot the occasional shadow in the background, revealing that Billy is stalking the girls throughout the film. I watched it twice, and I forgot to look for it the second time. I was very pissed off. But yeah, apparently you can see, like, a man's shadow at certain times, which I really wish I'd seen. Shots of Claire's corpse in the rocking chair required the actress to wear an actual plastic bag over her head for extended periods of time. She would rip a hole in the bag, stuffing the opening into her mouth, and poke nose holes in the bag with a pencil so she could breathe during filming. Griffin would also state that these scenes came relatively easy for her, saying, "I was actually, and still am, a fairly good swimmer, so I could hold my breath for a long period of time, and I could also keep my eyes open for a long time without blinking."
What do you get up to on the weekends, lady?
I don't know, but I'd like to see it. Just saying. Keir Dullea worked only for a week on the film, never meeting Margot Kidder and barely meeting John Saxon, but the film is edited in such a way that he appears to be present throughout. Kind of is.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, no, he's not around much. He's there, but he doesn't talk to anyone. Here we go again. Margot Kidder remembered shooting the film as being fun. "I really bonded with Andrea Martin. Olivia Hussey was a bit of an odd one. She was obsessed with the idea of falling in love with Paul McCartney through her psychic. We were a little hard on her for things like that." So, of course, Olivia Hussey also said that the set was very light and happy, placed between takes, stating everyone got along with each other very well. She did, however, admit that Margot Kidder was rather distant from cast and crew during filming. I don't know who to believe.
Yeah.
The composer of the film's score, Carl Zitter, stated in an interview that he created the film's mysterious music by tying forks, combs, and knives onto the strings of a piano to warp the sounds of the keys. That's interesting. Zitter also stated that he would distort the sound by further recording its sound into an audio tape and then making the sound a little slower. Why the hell not? The audio for the phone calls was performed by multiple actors, including actor Nick Mancuso and director Bob Clark, as well as an unnamed actress. During a Fan Expo panel in 2014, Nick Mancuso said that the actress was probably Anne Sweeney, though he was probably not entirely sure, as the film came out 40 years prior and he could not remember properly. He stated in an interview that he would stand on his head during the recording sessions to compress his thorax, and make his voice sound more demented. The audio calls were edited into the film during post-production. While shooting the footage for the phone call scenes, the actresses were actually reacting to threatening dialogue being spoken from director Bob Clark from off-camera, which was, by account, much tamer than what was eventually used. I would hope so.
I'm going to get you.
I would like to...
My pretty... No, shit, that's another. I'm gonna...
Well, the opening one where it's all, like, perverted, and it's like, I would intercourse you the hell...
So hard!
So much.
Ooh! Bob, seriously, if you want to scare me, you're gonna have to...
I have to try a little harder. Goddamn. When we get to that part, I have to talk about that first phone call. It seems so out of place.
Yeah.
It really is a little weird, but whatever. While writing the script, Roy Moore and Bob Clark could not decide whether or not to have Jess killed off or let her live, so they decided to write two alternative endings to the film, one where she dies and one where she survives. Neither ending was filmed, so they decided to leave the ending and Jess's fate ambiguous. During preparation in 1975 for the film's American release, Warner Brothers Studios executives asked Clark to change the concluding scene to show after the police leave, Claire's boyfriend Chris appear in front of Jess and say, "Agnes, don't tell them what we did," before killing her. However, Clark insisted on keeping the ending ambiguous.
No, that's stupid.
That is very stupid. Extremely
Good
stupid.
job, Mr. Clark, for telling them that that's stupid.
Uh-huh. This is why executives don't make movies. After Clark rewrote parts of the script, Moore was against the idea of never seeing the killer. However, when he saw the finished film, he was very pleased with it. Even though it is kept ambiguous, Bob Clark actually wrote a backstory for the killer. Billy is abusive and abused his little sister, and was abused himself, and probably killed his parents, and probably locked her up in the basement for 5 or 6 years. Clark said, and I think she escaped, and Billy doesn't like girls, and it turns out Agnes doesn't like boys. I don't know. The original plan was to keep the title of the film as Stop Me. Clark has stated in an interview that he came up with the film's official title, saying that he enjoyed the irony of a dark event occurring on a festive holiday.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. So the release of the film. This is a surprisingly interesting story. Black Christmas was distributed in Canada by Ambassador Film Distributors and released in Toronto on October 11th, 1974. In the United States, Warner Brothers released the film in tandem with the Christmas season on December 20th, 1974. For the American release, Warner Brothers initially changed the title to Silent Night, Evil Night, worried that the original title would mislead audiences into believing the film was a blaxploitation movie.
Give credit to your audience there.
Although I would watch a blaxploitation movie called Black Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know what that would entail or where it would take place, but sure.
If it was a remake of this, I'd watch the shit out of it.
Better than what we got.
I'll get there. We're almost there.
Times 2.
We're almost there.
I'm assuming.
I'm not. Well, we'll get there. They retracted the title after the initial release, restoring it to Black Christmas for subsequent screenings. Yeah, no shit.
It's fine. We know you don't mean...
Also,
yeah, we know.
Not to be confused with the movie that came out like 5 years later, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
Like, somebody was going to take it. The film later screened in October 1975 in New York City and Chicago, as well as 19 theaters in Los Angeles, where it generated considerable ticket sales. This prompted Warner Brothers to expand the release to a total of 70 theaters nationwide in time for Halloween. But the film only generated a daily average of $700 per theater per day, after which Warner Brothers withdrew the film from circulation in December, which is kind of funny. They stopped showing it in December. Guys,
it's a Christmas
clearly know.
Movie.
That's fine.
It's not making any money. It's just like, well, maybe it made money during the Christmas season. All right, this is why. Okay, well,
so this is a weird factoid. When released in the UK, the BBFC had the word cunt removed, as well as several other crude and sexual references.
But that's your word!
I know! I don't understand why they took that out. Like, if anyone's going to take it out, it would be, the
I'm
Canadians
surprised
going,
you
what
didn't
the
put
hell?
more!
Yeah, it's like, hey, they don't say cunt enough in there. Throw a few 5 or 6 more in there, would you? Just so weird. The film, under the title Stranger in the House, was set to make its network television premiere on Saturday night, January 28th, 1978, on NBC's weekly Saturday Night at the Movies. 2 weeks prior to its premiere, the Chi Omega, Jesus Christ, sorority house on the campus of Florida State University in Tallahassee was the scene of a double murder in which 2 sorority sisters asleep in their beds were bludgeoned to death.
Oops.
The killer then went to a nearby room in the sorority house and violently attacked 2 more sleeping co-eds who survived. A few days before the movie was set to premiere on network television, Florida's then Governor Ruben Askew contacted NBC President Robert Mulholland to request the movie not be shown due to its all-too-similar theme as the murders of the sorority sisters by an unknown madman. On Tuesday, January 24th, NBC gave several of its affiliates in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama the option of showing an alternative movie, Doc Savage, The Man of Bronze.
Hey!
Right?
Much better. Well, not much better. Not much better.
No.
Not much better.
In place of Stranger in the House.
I'm a fan.
It's a great movie, but it's not better than this.
Oh, fair enough. That's fair.
The killer was later identified as Ted Bundy, who was executed for this and other homicides on January 24th, 1989. So, yeah, that was fucked up.
Also, I could see why they...
Yeah. There's a time, and there's a bit of a taste factor of like, yeah, all right.
Listen, they took Twin Tower stuff out of like MIB
exactly.
and I think Spider-Man because of it. It makes sense. You can't.
However, if you go back and watch that old Spider-Man preview that they started out, it was pretty badass.
Yeah, it was great.
But I can understand why you would take that out. During its initial release, so this is the legacy of the film. During its initial release, the film received mixed reviews. A.H. Whaler of the New York Times called it a whodunit that raises the questions as to why it was made. You're a fucking idiot. I don't know who you are, and if you're still alive, I would like to tell you you're a fucking idiot. But that's just me. Speaking of people who I respect and still don't understand, Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune gave the film 1.5 out of 4 and called it a